from Cairo, Egypt, the New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof. Nick, thanks very much. I was intrigued by this tweet that you put out saying the courage of pro-democracy protesters in Libya is matched only by the fecklessness of the international community. Fecklessness, weak, worthless. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, at the same time that you have these unbelievable protesters marching unarmed, for example, from Tajura into Tripoli, right into these people with machine guns, you have an international community that is essentially wringing its hands. And, there are things that we can do. Nobody is proposing that we invade Libya, and that would be a mistake for a million reasons. But it's imperative right now that we send signals to try to peel off the Libyan military from Gaddafi himself. And there are ways we can signal that, and we're basically talking about talking. We're not doing anything more.
Well, give us some examples, specific examples of what the international community should do.
Well, I think one basic thing we can do is work on a no-fly zone. One can simply announce that any military aircraft that are used to attack civilians will lead to a reprisal. That we're not going to have planes necessarily above Libya at all times, but that when we have a chance that when those aircraft are used against civilians, then later Libya is going to lose aircraft on the ground. The same with ships. And that can be imposed immediately, can be done in conjunction with NATO, for example. A second thing we can do, I was talking to somebody in Tripoli today, and he was saying that military units there, one base in particular, that they want some kind of signal from the United States and other countries so that they can be reassured that if they stay on their base and don't get involved, that they will be protected, that they won't be attacked. And we should send those kind of signals to the Libyan military and ask them not to get involved in this.
It looks, though, like the statements coming out of the European leadership are stronger than the statements coming out of the Obama administration. They're much more specific, they're much more pointed, and they're naming Gaddafi specifically. Is that your sense as well?
The Obama administration was worried that if we led the way, that then there might be reprisal attacks on Americans in Tripoli. But at this point, that ferry carrying so many of those Americans has now left. And, at the end of the day, when you have these Libyans leading the way, when you have when you have the pro-Gaddafi forces in a machine gun these protesters, then I think it is incumbent on us to do more. And I think it's sad that Europe is leading the way and that we're kind of hiding in the wings.
I'm really concerned, though, that Gaddafi in these maybe his final hours, maybe final days, he'll really unleash the mercenaries, the non-Libyan troops, some of his own thugs, and randomly just start killing not just hundreds but thousands of people. He does have weapons over there that are fully capable of doing that. How concerned should the world be about that?
It's really hard to know, but I mean, his interior minister, who presumably knows him better than you or I, has warned about the possibility that he might use biological weapons, presumably just loose on civilian populations. Now, in this situation, I mean, there's not a lot we can do at the end of the day, but one of the things we really can do is make sure that he doesn't have use of his air assets and of his ships. Those are the ways that he would be able to attack Benghazi, for example. And I spoke to somebody who was involved in 3 ships that were ordered to leave Tripoli and attack Benghazi. And those naval commanders did not openly disobey, but in practice they're stalling. They don't want to go do that. We need to send signals to those people to encourage them, to give them safe passages to Malta, for example, so that they know how to get away and so that those attacks won't take place. We can at least mitigate the degree of killing, even if we can't forestall it completely.
One final question, Nick, before I let you go, and it's a tough one. If the U.S. were to find out where Gaddafi is hiding out right now, would it be appropriate to kill him, to drop a Hellfire missile from a drone, let's say, and just kill him once and for all?
That is a pretty tough question. Boy, I'm really tempted to say yes. I am a little bit nervous that if you had unilateral action by the U.S., that would resonate in Libya among nationalists as, a foreign imperialist power intervening. And so I'd have to think about that a lot. I'd be really worried about other casualties. I'd want to know how sure we are that we would actually be able to take out Gaddafi. It would work an awful lot better if there were a joint American, Tunisian, and Egyptian operation in some form.
Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times joining us.